The show is called Breaking News Los Angeles, broadcasting on YouTube. We're broadcasting live on Facebook, and we're very happy and grateful if you're listening and watching all around the world. This week on Breaking News Los Angeles, we're going to talk about a very interesting man. His name is Scott Wiener. He's the state senator from California. He represents San Francisco and parts of San Mateo, which is an area just south of San Francisco. He's an interesting guy. He made the news this week. We're going to get to why in a second. This is, again, the last week of Gay Pride a month, which goes on every day, all day, and all night throughout the month of June every year. For some reason, people thought this was a good idea to make the entire month about Gay Pride. Okay. So we've seen lots of politicalization on this issue, on gay pride parades and the people who run it, the people who are grand marshals. Some celebrity was just removed from the West Hollywood gay pride parade because of her affiliation with President Trump. She was friends with President Trump. I forgot who the woman was, but she voluntarily stepped down. It's just a whole political front, the gay pride movement, for the legacy Democratic media. They can't get enough of it. They'll spend literally 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes a night on this topic, on these parades, bypassing or doing 30-second readers on violent crime stories in the area or ignoring them altogether, and giving wall-to-wall coverage on this gay pride. So gay pride is happening. So Scott Wiener, the senator from San Francisco, let me just tell you about him for a second. People are like, well, who is he? First of all, he's a pretty bright guy. I mean, he's from Philadelphia, the Philadelphia area. He's 56 years old. He served as a member of the California State Senate from the 11th District since 2016. Since 2016, he's a member of the Democratic Party, and his district, as mentioned before, encompasses San Francisco and parts of San Mateo County. He previously served as a member of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors from the 8th District from 2011 to 2016. Now, that was Dianne Feinstein's district. Dianne Feinstein, I believe, really handed this guy her platform and handed him a very big internship, for what I remember, and he inherited Dianne Feinstein's district. So he's been representing this district again. I believe he was representing that 8th district from 2011 to 2016, and really a protege of Dianne Feinstein, also a Jewish person, by the way. So both of these people are Jewish. Wiener is Jewish. He got degrees from Duke University and Harvard Law School. He was actually an attorney and an LGBTQ plus rights advocate in San Francisco before his election to the SF Board of Supervisors in 2010. Now, as a supervisor, Wiener chaired the San Francisco County Transportation Authority. He represented San Francisco on the Regional Metropolitan Transportation Commission and the Golden Gate Bridge, Highway, and Transportation District Boards. A lot of bureaucracy there, but he's a very bright guy. Again, Harvard Law School. He's no slouch. Now, this guy has managed, in spite of all this, to become one of the most hated politicians in the country. Why? Well, he's been known as a prominent advocate for various measures, such as, let's actually here. I'm not going to keep reading that silly YouTube thing. There was something even better on what he was about here that I had pulled up. I thought, well, basically, he's a trans rights activist. Okay, these are some of the issues that he's been known for. And, he basically was, as a member of the board's budget committee, Wiener advocated for HIV/AIDS services and restoring lost federal funds. In 2016, he helped secure funding for San Francisco's Getting to Zero effort, which aims to end all HIV infections in San Francisco. So, you can say he did some good things that was well intended. But then there was other issues that he championed that people really got upset about. Wiener co-authored Senate Bill 179 in 2017, which created a third non-binary gender option on government documents. That passed the California Senate in 2018, and I believe was signed by Governor Newsom. Wiener authored Senate Bill 219 in 2017, which strengthened protections against discrimination based on sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, and HIV status. Now, there was something that he got involved in, which really, really angered people and really sent this guy into the orbit in terms of popularity and hatred. Wiener introduced Senate Bill 145 on January 18, 2019. The bill proposed to remove the requirement to place someone convicted of a non-forcible oral or anal sex with a minor over the age of 14, provided the convicted is less than 10 years older, of the sex offender registry, on their sex offender registry. So it gives the judge the option, if there's a 10-year age difference, like if the man is 24 and the boy is 14, to either demand that the offending person, the convicted person, be on the sex registry list, the sex offender registry list, or not. So it gives that judge the option. Now, he argued, Wiener insisted that this happened because existing law was discriminatory, this is what he claimed, towards LGBTQ couples where the partners were just above the age of legal consent. Wiener received online harassment and death threats from those who claimed the bill protected pedophiles. Now, the bill was signed as a law by Gavin Newsom in September of 2020. Now, my point is, and this is what I didn't understand, did Wiener have any proof that this was actually happening to people? Because the law that was stated, as it was stated, said that this is how we will treat each person if there's a 10-year age gap. I don't believe it specifically said that gay men were not included in this. I don't think there was any evidence of that. But Wiener went ahead and made sure that was part of his plans legislatively. Lastly, in 2021, this was his last big, real controversial bill. Wiener authored SB 107. This is a trans refuge bill to protect transgender children seeking gender affirming care in California and their families from civil and criminal punishment under other state laws. Now, the law would restrict the enforcement of out-of-state laws and policies that penalize gender-affirming care and subpoena and arrest warrants and in the parental custody cases. SB 107 became law thanks to Wiener, thanks to Governor Gavin Newsom in 2022. And I can tell you this didn't help one person, wasted a lot of money, put a lot of money in the pockets of some NGOs, and very few people, if anyone, was helped at that point. Now, we are, why are we bringing this up? Well, just 2 days ago, the New York Post had this headline: would-be Pelosi successor Scott Wiener, he's running to replace retiring Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi in San Francisco. Okay, he's not endorsed by Pelosi. She endorsed his opponent, who made it into the runoff along with Wiener. She came in second place. Her name is Connie Chan. That's who Pelosi endorsed. But for some reason, she didn't endorse Wiener. I think it was something to do with his affiliation with Feinstein. I don't know if there was any love lost between Feinstein and Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi likes to be the center of attention, and Dianne Feinstein was a very powerful woman and had a pretty impressive legacy for a long time in San Francisco. That woman came through in 1978, 1977, during those years, during that week when Jim Jones decided to slaughter 800 people with his Kool-Aid and the guns and the thugs. And then a week later, Dan White, the police officer from San Francisco, walks into City Hall and shoots up and kills 3 people, including Harvey Milk, the supervisor, and then Mayor Moscone. Dianne Feinstein came out and spoke to the press, and it was an amazing moment. Eric Brenner, Breaking News, Los Angeles. That's the name of the show. Why are we talking about this? Scott Wiener, who was appointed essentially and pushed forward to the masses, to the San Francisco, to the Castro district in San Francisco by Dianne Feinstein. She, of course, has since passed away. And Nancy Pelosi didn't endorse this guy, Wiener, to replace her in Congress. She endorsed Connie Chan. So you have the gay pride celebration happening. There's a few days left. And here's the headline in the New York Post from a few days ago. Would-be Pelosi's successor, Scott Wiener, humiliated as he's chased from San Francisco Trans March. Progressive candidate, and he is left of left. Scott Wiener can't catch a break in super woke San Francisco. The leading candidate to win Nancy Pelosi's seat in Congress was chased away from the city's Pride March on Friday by an angry mob, a day after footage surfaced of pro-Palestinian agitator berating him inside a restaurant. So he was already harassed for being Jewish. Again, we mentioned he grew up Jewish in Philadelphia, in a Jewish family that respected Israel, that respected Israel's right to exist. There wouldn't be a question in that household about the October 7th attack on the 2,000 people who were at a rock concert there relaxing one day when 2,000 scumbags come over the border fence with military rifles, artillery, rape, kill, and take hostage hundreds, 1,200 people dead and hundreds permanently wounded and others maimed, raped, and of course the hostages that were taken for almost 2 years. This would be something that Scott Wiener, coming from that Jewish family in Philadelphia, he wouldn't even think twice about whether that was right or wrong, and whether Israel ever takes part in a genocide, which is an absolute lie. The only countries that take part in Israel isn't one of them. The only countries that take part in a genocide are places like Nigeria, where they go around and they basically shoot people who are homosexuals who are holding hands. They'll beat them up. The police will beat them up. Sometimes they'll shoot them on the spot if they might be making out or something in public. And then they'll put them in the court. They'll run them through the court system. And in Nigeria, that's a life in prison sentence for being gay in public. That's a genocide. That's a genocide. They have mass killings of gay people in that country. The genocide. You want to talk genocide? How about Uganda? Another place where they shoot gay people. These are places where there are documented genocides happening by the UN, by Amnesty International, by American State Department spokespersons are constantly putting out warnings about staying away from countries like that if you're gay. You don't hear these people coming and talking about this. They say there's a genocide in Israel, and Wiener, who's Jewish, who's part of this woke mess in San Francisco, this trans rights craziness, this trans refuge guy, he couldn't be more. He thought he was in like Flint, but then he woke up one day and he realized, wait a minute, I'm Jewish. Those guys would have come for me at that rock concert. They would have taken me hostage. He knows that. But this is what he's dealing with right now. When he was walking through a park, I believe it was Dolores Park in San Francisco, and a person filming Wiener walking through a park, I believe it was Dolores Park. I used to go there all the time. He was initially heard complimenting Wiener, who is gay, on his actions on, quote, trans issues. They love him on trans issues, that Wiener, before launching into a blistering attack on the guy. Quote, "You've been terrible. You've been terrible on Gaza, the person is heard yelling. Now, who is this person yelling at Wiener in the park who's Jewish, who's left of left, who basically would be changing Bernie Sanders' underwear if he could? He's so far left. Who is this guy who's attacking Wiener for not being left enough on Gaza? Well, that person is a real scumbag. His name is Dmitry Yakashurian. Just you'll hear his voice, and and he's very indicative of this free Palestine, this really not so free Palestine, because as Jerry Seinfeld said, there is no such thing as a free Palestine. It doesn't exist. So you'll hear the whining voice, you'll hear the shriek in this man's and the hate in this man's heart, the shriek in his voice, and the ignorance in his mind, and his ignorance on this issue, because there is no genocide in Gaza, Dmitry Yakashurian, you yuts. Israel defended itself after it was attacked. They were attacked. Grandmothers were taken hostage. Women were raped and beheaded. And they were defending themselves against the 40,000 members of Hamas who live in Gaza. Those are the people that were targeted by the IDF, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and the state of Israel. And they have every right to do that. Eric Brenner, the show's called Breaking News Los Angeles. So here's this guy, Dmitry Yakashurin, who attacked Scott Wiener, the state senator from San Francisco. He was taking a walk in the park after showing up to say, hey, I love trans, hey, trans rights. Yeah. Well, here's the audio of this man. Here it is right here. Dmitry Yakashurian attacking Scott Wiener in Dolores Park a few days ago.
Scott, I think your legislation on trans issues, and your legislation specifically protecting queers on Scott, I think your legislation on trans issues, and your legislation specifically protecting queers on the sex offender registry is fantastic. Like, I really applaud you for that, and I think you deserve to be here for that. But I think your housing policy, and specifically your housing policy aligning with Gimby's, and I think your policy, and I think your policy on the genocide in Gaza, and I think your policy on the genocide in Gaza is terrible. I think you do not belong here. I think you do not belong here. You do not belong here, Scott, anymore. It sucks because you've been wonderful. You've been wonderful for trans people, and you've been terrible. And you've been terrible. You've been terrible. You've been terrible on Gaza. You do not belong here anymore, Scott, and it breaks my fucking heart. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart that someone who wrote good legislation for queers is so fucking terrible on Gaza. Scott, do you have anything to say? Do you have anything to say about Gaza? How could you do this to San Francisco? How could someone like you do this to San Francisco? Scott, say something. Redeem yourself. Do something. Fuck you, Scott. I want to like the person who had such good legislation on trans rights. You're a piece of shit. We fucking hate Scott, you. I want to support someone who's so positive on trans rights, but you're a piece of shit on Gaza. How could you do that? How could you betray queers? How could you oppress people? You stopped being queer the moment you started supporting Israel, you piece of shit!
Eric Brenner here, Breaking News Los Angeles, the name of the show. It's just shocking to hear this. In the town that I loved and spent so many years with, San Francisco, you wouldn't think something like that would ever happen. Language like that would ever be spoken. And an elected official who came to support your cause, but because he's Jewish and he believes in that right for Israel to exist and that for people to go to a rock concert without being raped, without being taken hostage, without being killed. He believes in that right. And I guess this pro-Palestinian thug movement, this quote, free Palestine, not so free Palestine thug movement. This is more like a Jew hatred movement. And you just heard the tape of what State Senator Scott Wiener, Democrat from San Francisco, he's running to replace Nancy Pelosi. He's the leading candidate, and he's Jewish. He's a 56-year-old man, a Jewish man. He was raised Jewish in Philadelphia, and now this is something he's facing. And other Democratic candidates, the Jewish candidates all around the country, they're facing the same thing. Eric Brenner, the show is called Breaking News Los Angeles. We thank you for tuning in tonight, and we invite you to subscribe and follow and like and share the message that we're going to stop Jew hatred. We're going to squash it in its tracks. I think we have a good shot at doing that. I think this is going to really hurt the Democrats in the midterms. I think this Mandami sweep in New York with 3 Democratic candidates, all of the DSA ilk, all pushed it forward by Mayor Zohran Mamdani, the socialist mayor of New York. He's basically a front for the Muslim Brotherhood, and he's going to be very prominent in the November election, especially in Los Angeles. Mark my word, he's going to come out here and turn up the heat on Karen Bass and endorse Nithya Raman in the LA election. But with that in mind, everyone needs to know we're going to win this. We're going to get the word out and get the word out quick. That this is not a free Palestine movement. This is a Jew hatred movement. And it's up to guys like Scott Wiener, which I predict will be known as one of the centrists in the Democratic Congress if he is elected, and hopefully they'll be in the minority when he's elected. He'll be a centrist compared to these other DSA candidates. And that's because he's Jewish. Eric Brenner here, Breaking News Los Angeles, the name of the show. Go ahead and if you want to we're going to keep the conversation going on YouTube, and we're going to sign off here on Facebook and Instagram, and we're going to keep following these stories. And till next time, this is Eric Brenner with Breaking News Los Angeles.